Hey guys, it's Rachel here, and today I'm going to be doing another review video. Now, this is going to be a review over two books today because I found it's kind of awkward to film like a video on one book. I feel it's like easier to go ahead and do it over two books. So today the books I'm going to be reviewing are going to be Angelfall by Susan E. and Half Bad by Sally Green. I read both of these books pretty recently. I read Half Bad at the very end of March, and I read Angelfall at the very beginning of April. I also read Angelfall with Stephanie from @Walker, so I will leave everybody's links down below. I will also go ahead and leave the Goodreads links to all these books if you guys are interested in getting them. So the first book that I'm going to go ahead and start with is going to be Half Bad by Sally Green. So essentially this book is about witches, I guess you could say. It is a modern times story. Witches live amongst humans. There are black witches and white witches. The white witches are going to be your good witches, and your black witches are going to be your bad witches. Our main character's name is Nathan, and Nathan is the product of a white witch and the most powerful black witch kind of known to man. I want to go ahead and put this in there that if you are easily offended by abuse or the treatment of a person, then this may not necessarily be the type of book for you. But Nathan's life sucks. Like, it really does. There were so many times in this book where I felt that his treatment of the way that people treated him was just so unnecessary and so sad. Like, he did not choose to be born of how he was born. No one chooses to be born, and the way he's treated as if he's this monster is just so horrible, and it broke my heart so many times to read different areas in the book where he was just treated so horribly. But at the same time, Nathan's character is really strong. Although he is constantly persecuted and constantly told all these awful things and that he's this bad person, he's a black witch, that he pushes through. He is a really strong character, and I really liked him for that. I loved his interactions with a lot of different people. I loved how he kind of saw not necessarily the bright side of things, but he weathered through everything that was given to him one after the other, and he made it through it. I really loved Nathan as a character. I have been hearing that it's been getting really compared to Harry Potter. I don't think that it's anything like Harry Potter, except for the fact of how Harry in the first book was treated by the family. So I think that may be the only way that it was kind of comparable to Harry Potter, but the storyline is nothing like Harry Potter, so I don't want anyone to think that they're getting a Harry Potter story out of Half Bad, because that's not what it is. Pretty much the entirety of the story is Nathan trying to find his dad. It's pretty much what he's doing throughout the entire story. And so yeah. Overall, I gave the book a 4.5 stars. Either a 4 or 4.5 stars. I think on Goodreads I gave it a 4. The only reason I did not give it a 5 stars is because there's only one aspect of the book that I didn't particularly care for. I didn't really care for the love interest in the story. I understand why she was the love interest. I understand her point as far as that goes. But in the end, I don't know that I totally cared for the love interest. There's a couple different times in the book where he's mentioning the love interest, but I don't think that it was necessarily adding to the story especially at the end. You know, I don't know. I just feel that it was kind of unnecessary. Maybe it'll be more important within the progression of the trilogy as it goes, but for Half Bad, I don't think that the love interest was necessarily the most amazing thing of the story. But I can say that I think that the story stands really well on its own without the love interest. I think that if you're looking for a book that's not super heavy on romance, that this is probably more of a book for you. So like I said, overall, I really enjoyed this book. I actually read this book with Riley, and we both really enjoyed it. It was super fast paced. There wasn't really any times in the story that I felt that it was dragging on. There was always something happening, and I really loved that. The characters were really great. I loved everybody that Nathan interacted with. I loved a lot of the sympathy. I felt a lot of empathy and sympathy for Nathan in the story, and I loved all of that in there. Now, granted, there are some characters in here that are just horrendous that I did not like whatsoever, but that was not because of the way that the character was written, if that makes sense. It was more or less, you're not supposed to like some of these characters, and I did not like that. I did not like the characters that you were not supposed to like because of how the characters were and because of how some of these characters treated Nathan within the story. But overall, the story was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it, and I really think that if you enjoy a modern type story with witches in it, that you would really enjoy this. So I would definitely recommend picking up Half Bad by Sally Green. Okay, the next book that I'm going to be reviewing is Angelfall by Susan E. Okay, guys. I just finished this book yesterday, and I can tell you with 100% certainty that I absolutely devoured it. I have not been this in love with a book in quite some time. I loved every little bit of it at 5 out of 5 stars, just right off the bat, 5 out of 5 stars. So, what's the story about? Essentially, Angelfall is a story about a girl named Penryn. Penryn lives in a post-apocalyptic society in which angels have come down and more or less destroyed everything, and it is kind of like a dog-eat-dog world. You gotta survive, you know, survival of the fittest, gotta do what you can to survive kind of story. So pretty much the story starts off with Penryn, her mom, and Paige in a rundown building. They are surviving the way that they can, and they are leaving the building that they are to go to a different area. When they're on the street, they happen to run into some angels taking care of some business on Earth. There is a group of angels that are attacking one angel, and they are kind of watching it from the sidelines. Unfortunately, one of the characters makes a little bit of a noise, and the angels notice them, and they take Paige, the younger sister, with them. And so the story kind of progresses from there. More or less, the entire story is Penryn trying to locate her sister, trying to find Paige. But it is also Penryn trying to help the fallen angel that has been left wingless on the ground, trying to help him to find the area where he needs to go to get his wings back, as well as them teaming together so that he can get his wings back and Penryn can find Paige. This story is engrossing. The writing style is phenomenal. I was so blown away. I did not expect this book to be as good as it was. It is incredibly, incredibly dark, which is what I love so much about it. I know a lot of the times I'll talk about a book in my reviews, and I will say that the book is dark, but a lot of them don't even come close to the morbid feel of this book. There were times in this book that I literally cringed because of how dark it was. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I loved Penryn. She is kick-ass. All she cares about is finding her sister, and I love that about her. She is on a mission, and there's not anything that you can do that's going to deter her from finding her sister. I loved Rafi. I loved Rafi. He is an asshole, but he's awesome. Like, I don't even want to like go into too much detail about Rafi, but he's awesome. I loved him. The romance in here is not super overpowering. There's some little bit of tension going on in the story, but it is incredibly enjoyable in my opinion. I also really loved the demonic angel kind of aspect of the story. I love how when they're talking about angels, they are actually speaking of angels that were in the Bible, biblical angels, not even necessarily just in the Bible, but also like the Dead Sea Scrolls, the lost books of the Bible type of thing. This is very heavy. I don't know if necessarily that I've studied a lot of like biblical type things, but I don't necessarily know if somebody reading this reads upon some of the names of the angels that they'll necessarily know who those angels are, but I myself really enjoyed that when I came up upon a name of a fallen angel that I knew biblically, historically, who they were and what they did. So I think that gave another aspect of the book that I absolutely love so much. Like I said, the book is dark, amazing, just read it. Like, just read it. I know that I'm kind of late on the bandwagon on reading this, but if you haven't read it and you've been thinking that you should read it, then just do it. It's, oh my god, it's so freaking good. So of course I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I want to read World After immediately, and I am ecstatic to find out that apparently this is going to be a 5-book series, and that just, the happiness, that makes me so happy. So yes, if you couldn't tell, I absolutely loved Angelfall. 5 out of 5 stars. Pick it up if you haven't picked it up yet. If you have it sitting on your shelf and you're not sure if you should take that plunge, just read it. It is so freaking good. But other than that, those are my reviews over Angelfall and Half Bad. Both really, really good books, but if I had to choose one for you guys to read over the other, definitely Angelfall. Just amazing. Have you guys read these books? What were your thoughts on it? Also, are you guys planning on picking up these books? If you are, please let me know, and when you finish it, we can talk about it. But other than that, thank you guys so much for commenting, liking, and subscribing, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.